front of all of you. A little bit of background about myself. I was probably the last person you would expect up in front of her. Growing up, I was always very shy, introverted. Share a couple of examples with you. Growing up, you know, there's always that kid at the party that won't leave their parents' side. That was me. I was the one sitting at the adult table. They would send other kids to recruit me, and I would say, no, that's okay, I'm good here. You know, I just sit here and listen to everyone else talk. In grade school, I wouldn't even raise my hand, because when I raise my hand, everyone looks at me, just like you're all looking at me right now. It carried all the way through school, into my professional life. You know, I worked in retail management for a while. I ran a great store. This is in Santa Monica, California, so I was born and raised in California. So I was running a Toys R Us, one block off of 3rd Street Promenade. Has anyone been out there? 3rd Street Promenade is where they film a lot of the shows, and they have street performers, and they interview a lot of people. So my store was like literally a block from there. And I ran a great store. However, we would go in front of the boardroom meetings, and you know, where you have to share your successes and talk to everyone else about what you're doing in your store. And I would just choke up. I never got promoted, never got advanced through that. So what do I do after that? I go into the sales world, right? So it's a good place for somebody that's afraid of speaking and talking to people. And I realized I have to get out there and meet people. You know, I was tired of just doing the cold calling and just chasing business nonstop. And I saw a networking event that was just calling out to me. It was a speed networking event. It was at Jason's Deli in Dublin. Very first one that I ever went to. And I had a lot of fear and anxiety, but I forced myself to go anyway. Have you guys ever been, you just felt like a prompting, like you should be somewhere? Like maybe experience that today, like, you know, I should be here. So that was me. I went there, I was uncomfortable with it, but I recognized something. I recognized that in networking, there's a lot of people getting value out of networking. But there's also a lot of people that aren't getting value out of networking, and I tried to decipher the difference between the two. You see, I was new to networking, so I became a student. I started studying and learning about what made people successful when they're out networking, what made other people unsuccessful when it came to networking. So I made all the mistakes. I did all the stupid stuff that some of you have done. Maybe you don't have to admit it, so I'll do it for you. You know, I've done all the different things to where I just, you know, maybe I spoke too much at the event. Maybe I didn't listen to anybody. I forgot their name as soon as they told me. Did you guys ever experience that? So you forget it like literally 2 seconds later. So I went through all that stuff. But I got better because I stuck around. I knew that there was a lot riding on it. I saw people that, so for example, let's say a realtor, you know, they're nonstop, you know, marketing, trying to get, because they make a lot of money, right? They sell a house, they make a lot of money. So let's say a realtor, for example, you have one realtor over here doing the traditional marketing, postcards, mailers, flyers, all that kind of stuff. And then I'd see another realtor over here that's out in the networking world. You know what this realtor experiences? I go see them at the networking event, they walk around, they meet people, they're greeting people, and then somebody will come up to them and say, hey, you know what, I got somebody you gotta meet, they're just moving, can you help them out? But yeah, sure, I could do that. And then later somebody else would come up to them and say, hey, you know what, I know somebody that's looking for a place, they're just coming to town, and can you help them with that? Yeah, give me their number, I'll go ahead and take care of them. And I looked at it, I said, I wanna be this person on this side, because it looked a lot easier to me than constantly chasing business. So when I first started networking, that was my main purpose, was to be able to build business. But as I got better at network, I realized that there's so many people that suffer the same struggles that I had gone through. But when people got better at networking, what I found is that they don't have time anymore to spend helping other people that were struggling. Does that make sense? They're busy doing their own networking. They don't have time to slow down and help other people do that. I started helping people individually. I would see them in a room, look uncomfortable, so I would guide them through and spend a few minutes with them. Eventually I did my first networking workshop, and it was a hit. So I said, you know what, a lot of people need this service. So I started doing more coaching, I started doing more workshops, until it's grown into an additional business for me to where that's what I do. I just help people become better at networking. So I found a way to do it to where all of you today are going to become better at networking. So that's my goal, is for all of you to become a lot more comfortable. But before we jump into that, I want to give you a flow of what we're going to do today. The rest of today, I'm going to have a lot of two activities primarily, is what you're going to learn from. So I can stand up here, I can tell you all the things that you should be doing, which we've had people tell us things we should be doing our whole lives, and what do we do about it? Yeah, nothing, right? We don't do anything about it. We listen to it, we take good notes, we go home, put it next to all the other good notes, and then we don't do anything about it. So my goal is to help you experience good networking today. Is that cool? If not, I could load up 40 slides. I have 40 slides on the slide deck we can load. So my goal is to be able to help you through these two activities. Once we're done with the activities, then I'll kind of break it down and I'll help you to understand what we just did. Is that cool? At the end of the program today, For those of you that want additional coaching or guidance, I'll share a coaching program that's available to you guys. And also I have a book coming out in November, so I want to share a little bit about that to be a resource for you in the community. So the bigger picture of networking. So I told you why I started networking was just to build my business. But as I became better at networking, I realized something. That as networkers, as business people, all of us, we're free. We're free during the day. We have the ability to go out and impact many people's lives. We have the ability to impact people's lives more than anyone else because we're out in the business world. We're constantly meeting. We live off of referrals. We live off of networking, of meeting other people. But I'll share a couple of analogies and stories to help you get a picture of proper networking. So imagine, any poker players in here? Anybody play poker? All right, so Rodney. So Rodney, let's say that we got a table of poker players. How many people usually at a table when we're playing poker? Okay, it's like 5 or 6 people. So 5 or 6 people around the table, and their goal is to get 5 of the best cards they can. So they keep it close to themselves. They don't want to share any of their cards with somebody else because they'll give them an advantage when they don't want to tip off what they have. So they hold it close to the vest. But let's just say that Rodney and I are sitting at the table, and we decide we're going to start exchanging cards. Who do you think is going to win at that table 95% of the time? One of us is going to win, probably about 95% of the time at that table, just because we're exchanging cards. Why is it an advantage for us to exchange cards?
To get a better hand.
Yeah, but why do we have an advantage? How do we get a better hand because we're exchanging cards? What's happening? What are we exchanging? Yeah, so what he needs and what I need. You hear that? So what he needs, I might have those cards. What if I have one of each? And they're not the same suit, so they're not in sequence. So it's not a very good hand. I got 10 high, all right? That's my best card is a 10. But he has a pair of 2s. And so one of my 2s goes to him, now he's got 3 of a kind. And then I throw away my 4, and then now he's got a full house. And in the cards he gave me, now I got 2 pairs myself. You see how that works? So with networking, I look at it like exchanging cards, exchanging resources. So if it works for Rodney and myself, wouldn't it make sense to bring more people to be willing to trade? Why not trade with everyone else at the table? And so part of my goal with teaching network is to help people understand that it's not a win-lose proposition when we're networking, when we're doing when we're properly networking. We should be helping everyone win. So what if we change the rules of the game? Instead of one person wins and everybody else loses, what if we can just change the rules of the game to where our goal now is just to help everyone come out with a better hand than they started with, and that would be considered a win? Would you all consider it a win if you had better cards after trading than before? That's what proper networking is. That's what proper networking is. So think about the game of cards and what that does for you and what it'll do for your business. Let me share one other analogy with you. Imagine 2 men fishing on the side of a riverbank. Okay, so 2 men fishing on the side of a riverbank. They're doing what a lot of people do in business. They're spear fishing. They see what they want. They see that fish down there. They got their spear and try to catch it. Oh, I missed it. Let me try it again, right? You're just going after that one fish nonstop. He gets smarter. He's like, you know what? This is too hard. Let me throw a net out there. So now he throws a net out. Now he captures 100 fish throughout the day. Out of the 100 fish, his customers only want about 10 of them. They're looking for a specific type of fish. So he only keeps about 10 of the 100. What did he do with the other 90? He threw them back in. 100 yards down the river, same situation. He's fishing, spear fishing, got tired of it, got a net. He throws his net out there. Catches 100 fish for the day. Captures 10, threw the other 90 back. They run across each other on a trail heading back to their village, and they see that they have 2 different types of fish that they're looking for. He says, I didn't know you wanted those kind of fish. I just threw like several of those back. He's like, I didn't know you need those either because I threw a bunch of yours back too. So no matter what you do in this room, we're all from different fields, professions, industries. No matter what you do, would you agree that the majority of people that you run across and meet are probably not going to be your clients? Honestly. More people will not be our clients than will be our clients. True? True. Can you see what's happening with the fishing story? We're looking for our 10, our 5, or 1, whatever out of 100 that our ratio is. We're throwing all the rest back. But if we were networking, Now we can exchange resources. Instead of all of us just chasing for what we want, what if now we can help everyone else by exchanging cards, by getting more resources? So that's my passion behind networking, because I can see where teaching people the proper way to network is going to take all the pressure off. It's going to allow people to be a lot more effective at it. And not only will it help your business, but it helps the community. How much can we help the community if we're struggling and we're handcuffed to our business? Just trying to make a profit, just trying to survive. How much can we donate of our time? How much can we donate of our finances, our resources, if we're handcuffed to our business? See, through networking, if now we're exchanging, wouldn't that allow a lot more free time during the day to do other things? So my bigger picture, my bigger goal in networking is to help improve the community through networking. So step one, I'm going to help you overcome a lot of your fears today. Some of it is just from having the right mindset. Second thing is to be able to increase your influence in the community. And the third thing is to be able to actually impact your community. All right, so what I'm going to have you do on your piece of paper in front of you, there's 3 numbers at the very top. You see under self-assessment. So share it after you write it down. So just write down a number on there from 1 to 10. Okay, so that's the only thing I don't want you to write, from 1 to 10. All right, good. On number 2, I want you to write down your greatest fear or apprehension when it comes to networking. Your greatest fear or apprehension when it comes to networking. If you can't think of one, just go with what comes to mind first. Play word association. Somebody says networking, what do you think of? Write that down. So greatest fear or apprehension when it comes to networking, write that down under number 2. So here's what we're going to do next. So you can see we have a variety of skill levels, of reasons that people have, different fears that people experience. Some of you that didn't answer, probably you resonate with a few of the other things that you already heard, maybe some of the same things. So we have a range anywhere from 2 to 9 on our different skill levels. So we're going to work on that throughout the day. We've got another, I don't know, a little bit more than an hour or so I think we'll be able to do that. What we're going to do next, at networking events, anyone not familiar with the term elevator speech? Does everyone know what that is? Okay, so in case you don't know what it is, elevator speech is basically a short introduction. Sometimes people call it your 30 or 60-second commercial. That's a chance where you share about who you are and what you do. You have a limited amount of time, so imagine yourself on the elevator and that decision maker, that key person that you're trying to meet is in there, and you have a limited amount of time to make an impact. So that's what you would typically say in the 30 to 60 second. And it's not unusual at networking events similar to this, to where we go around the room and everyone has a chance, and we just kind of go in row by row, and everyone shares what they do. So here's what would happen to me. I told you my background just so you know where I'm coming from. So if you can relate to that, you can overcome it. But if I was sitting in that back corner over there, and we're just kind of going around in a circle, as it got closer to me back there, my heart rate's going up in direct proportion of how close it's getting to me. To where it finally got to me, my voice would literally crack because I said it was going to crack. I was like, oh, my voice is going to crack. And then there you go, Chris, so I would get more and more nervous. So guess what? While I was back there busy getting nervous, do you think I heard anything that any of you said? No. Some of you aren't even listening to me now because you're thinking about what you're going to say in your elevator. I'll take that as confirmation. So I did my thing. And then we're going down the rest of the row that way. I still didn't listen to anything they said over there. Why?
Critiquing themselves.
Yeah, anybody do that? Anybody critique themselves? Right? So I went, now what am I thinking? I'm like, oh, I forgot the best part. I wonder if I can go again. I screwed up. I practiced this in the car, I practiced in the shower, and I still forgot about it. So you see why in most networking events, I'm sharing how to make it work, but I'm also sharing why it doesn't work. And this is why it doesn't work. It's because everyone's too focused on themselves. Just like I was, just like many of you are. So focused on yourselves that you forget that you're there for other people. So we're going to change that up today. So all of you that are reciting your elevator speech in your head, you just wasted your last 1 minute and 2 minutes here, because you're not going to do your own introduction today. I'm going to mix you guys all up completely, because some of you sat with friends, some of you maybe made friends immediately with the person next to you, so I'm going to completely mix you guys around. So there's no favoritism, you're just going to end up with a random group, okay? So let me see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 16. All right, so we're going to have 4 groups of 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you guys count off to 4, and then we'll start at 1 through 4, and that'll create 4 groups of 4 if my math is correct. And then that'll be your new groups. So you're gonna be in a new group of 4. So all your job is right now is to count off and remember your number. Okay, so that's all you gotta do right now is remember your number. So we'll just go in a row this way and then back. Okay, so Ronnie's 1, so you're all facing kind of towards the middle. All right, next thing I want you to do is I want you to all hold your left hand up. Everyone hold your left hand up. Okay, the person on your left, that is your new best friend. You're gonna be introducing them today. Okay, so you're gonna introduce them today. And you are also, right? So you are also at someone else's left. Okay? So somebody is introducing you. You are only doing one thing. You're only introducing the person to your left. We're clear so far?
Yes.
Alright. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a couple minutes to get to know the other person. So here's the fastest way to do it is because there's even numbers. So while 2 of them are talking, then the other 2 are talking too. So you don't all just listen to one person and share about themselves. We'll run out of time. Okay? So as 2 are talking, the other 2 are talking as well. So you're learning about somebody else, then you're going to switch, and then somebody else is going to learn about you. You guys follow, or did I just confuse you more? You good? All right. So what I'll do is I'll give you guys 3 minutes. Well, actually, make it 2 minutes because we got to do it twice. I'll be about 5 minutes total because there's always a minute of fluff that disappears somehow. So 2 minutes to learn about the other person, and here's what I want you to learn about them. And I told you to leave the pens and papers on purpose because I didn't want you to write notes down. So what you're going to learn about them is their name and the proper pronunciation. Yeah, some of you will have it easier than others. So name, proper pronunciation of their name. The second thing is what they do. So we're going to just do like 30-second, maybe 45-second tops on the introduction. So their name, what they do, and then also learn something personal about them. So personal does not count if you just say, I really love my work. That doesn't count as personal. Okay? I want to know about you. I want to know about where you live. It could be something about your family. It could be a cool hobby that you have, an interesting experience you had, or your favorite vacation. So anything that is personal in nature. Cool? So name, what they do for a living, and something personal. Questions so far? All right, so you're going to have 2 minutes, and then I'm going to ask you guys to switch. And then next group, you're going to talk 2 minutes. And then here's what's going to happen after that. After that, I'm going to call each of your groups up to the front of the room. And you shouldn't be the only one with the privilege of getting to know that person. So you're going to introduce your new best friend to the rest of us. Okay, so don't worry about it. You screwed up. It's not your own introduction anyway, so relax. So it's good. It's relax. So after you guys are done, I'm going to call you guys up. You guys do the introduction for the rest of us, and we'll clap for everyone and have a good time. All right? So you guys want to get started? Your 2 minutes begins now for your first group. Go ahead.
Tell me what you do. So Lori, right? Attorney. Municipal immigration attorney.
I come from a family farm. So you guys go ahead and introduce your new best friend to the rest of us so we get to know them a little bit better. So I'll run the clock for 1 minute. That's like a high side, so try to stick with 30, 45 seconds. If you start hearing my phone go off, it's not a phone call. It just means to start wrapping up. It's 1 minute now. So, all right, go ahead and start.
I'll go ahead and start. This is Ala. She's right next to me. Ala is an IT consultant. She works for government and also private industries here in Columbus. She is from the Ukraine. She came to the United States about 25 years ago, became a U.S. citizen about 20 years ago. She loves the U.S., and she hasn't been back. She lives in New Albany, and she eventually does want to take her children back to the Ukraine. They're also learning Russian and also along with English. Very good. Okay.
This is my friend Shanita. Shanita lives in Grove City and owns her company called Diversity Tax and Accounting. Very busy, having many clients, have to work especially hard January through end of April probably, doing personal tax, but mostly corporate tax. Shanita has 3 daughters, and her personal life is as busy as her work life, but she works from the office and she enjoys that separation very much.
This is my new friend, Rodney. Rodney, he works with young families, helping them with all of their financial needs as far as savings and budgeting and he lives in Westerville, and the reason why he started his business is because he wanted to work with young families such as himself. He has a little boy, a 15-month-old little boy, and he just wanted to make sure, you know, people were on the right track with college saving plans and just being able to help them with budgeting and meeting all their financial needs with their family goals.
My new best friend is Lori. Lori lives in Marysville, is a retiree from Battelle, and would drive from Marysville all the way into Columbus for many years. She now devotes most of her time running around with her grandson, who is 1.5 years old. There's another one on the way, so she'll have to continue to train and run maybe 2 of them down soon. Outside of that, she works part-time for a female-owned IT consulting company.
Okay, are you ready to start? Hello everyone, I'd like you to meet my new friend beginning today. Her name is Whitney. And Whitney's specialty, and I think that one of the favorite things she does doing is organizing. And it's one of her specialties and it's her expertise. She is currently a program coordinator for Primary One Health, and that is one of the things they hire her for, and it's organizing for organization. She is also a proud pet mom of 2 mini Dobermans named Bo and Beauty.
All right. This is my new friend, Jarian. He is a foodie. If there's any place in Columbus that you might want to try, he can tell you where to go. Whatever your fancy may be, if it's a restaurant with a certain element of type of food or cuisine that you're interested in, carry-out place, he's your guy. He is also a visual graphic arts professional. He uses Apple products to make these graphics and designs. He can help you with a logo, a website, anything that you might need graphically, he's your guy. So when you think of Jarian, think of graphics and think of food. He is from Columbus, Ohio, born and raised, but his family is originally from Alabama, and he's my new friend. You're welcome.
Hello everyone, I'd like to introduce you all to Sarah. She is originally from New Jersey and just moved here a few months ago. She actually started her own legal practice. She specializes in general law, focusing on like family courts and as well as bankruptcy. Yeah, so she said she just blew some friends here and she just fell in love with the city and said, you know what, forget the East Coast, I had to come here. Yeah, so I would like to introduce you all to my new friend.
And this is my best friend Maxine. She is an HR and career consultant. She loves swimming and is planning her 2nd trip to Hawaii. So we shall be very jealous.
It isn't a free trip.
It's still Hawaii.
Well, I guess we'll go in order from left to right. Hi, this is Lena Washington. Lena is a naturopathic physician who specializes in thyroid management and autoimmune disease issues. She graduated from the University of Toledo for undergrad, went to the Southwest College of Naturopathic Medicine in Arizona, has 2 young children, a 7-month-old daughter and a 2-year-old daughter. And most interesting, her parents immigrated from Vietnam, and during that trip, Lena was born in the Philippines, my new best friend.
This is my new friend, Mazen. He is an immigration attorney. He has been in private practice for 2 years. He went to The Ohio State University and went to Capitol for law school. And he was born in Youngstown but raised in Palestine.
This is James. I didn't get his last name. He didn't tell me it. James is an attorney with a nonprofit, and he used to be a criminal attorney, planning on going back criminal law. He recently got a new bulldog, and they named him Cow. His kid's name is Cow.
Thank you. This is my friend Jack Dora. He is a business attorney, and he is in Upper Arlington. He flew jets for the Navy, and he also has a blog that focuses on political and social issues.
Okay, hi. I'd like to introduce you to my new BFF, Rosalind, but she does prefer to be called Rose. And what she does for business after having worked for Chase Bank over 20 years and happily retiring recently. She sets up a booth at special occasions, and she does video and photographs and things.
Hi everyone, this is my new friend Brenda Gross. She has been happily married and just celebrated her 45th wedding anniversary. She has 5 wonderful children and 16 grandchildren that keep her busy. She lives in Grove City for the last 44 years. She works for a IT consulting firm for the since last September. Prior to that, she was 20 years into nonprofit organizations.
Hello everyone, this is my new best friend Michael. Michael just passed the bar exam and is waiting to get into his expert field. He was raised in Lorain, Ohio on a large pig farm, and through that he wants to do estate planning for farmers is his goal with his attorney. He also was just married last fall. So there's Michael, congratulations, starting on a new road in life.
Thank you. My new friend is Donna P. down there. She originally from Philadelphia. She lived overseas in Germany for a time, and she's been living here in Columbus on the east side for 30 years. And she focuses her attention, she runs an online educational resource that focuses on holistic medicine and holistic healing, alternative roots. So that's Donna P.
I'm really glad it's over. All right. How was this experience a little bit different from the first thing you were fearing about going around the circle and introducing yourself? How was this experience different for you?
It was fun.
It was what?
It was fun.
It was fun? You guys have fun?
Yeah. It was
No, it was great to hear someone else explain what the other person actually does for, their career.
Somebody else talking about you? Talking about yourself?
Right.
Should the focus also be thinking about having to introduce yourselves? And a lot of times when you're networking, you don't have that kind of intense concentration on what the person might be saying because there's so many people in a room. So this is really nice. I mean, I got to learn that, got to learn your pet names for pets' names, and it was cool.
Listen.
Yeah, you do.
What else? Anybody else?
I think
Michael.
It's very informative because it shows what other people actually took from what you told them. I can explain myself, and you've done it 100,000 times, but what somebody else, what words they would use and how they would describe you actually shows, what is conveyed when you're talking to somebody else.
Yeah, excellent. Isn't that powerful? Because what we say, we think everyone gets it, and then when they don't get it, we get mad at them like it's their fault. Well, now we get to see what other people are hearing when they recite what we just told them. So, excellent, Michael. What else? Somebody else?
The exercise also pulls on your ability to remember what you were told, and it helps you with your recall. So, I say the word while I was up, but I was recalling what, our conversation, so that is helpful to learn how to not say and then to be able to recall the things that you just told.
Yeah. So remember, who was it before that said they forget the names? There's a lot, everyone. So you forget the name right after, but were you impressed when you saw everyone come up here? And not only did they remember the name, they remembered a lot of details, and you were all only talking about 2 or 3 minutes. And look at how many details you remembered about each other. What else? Anything else?
I think I enjoyed the part that you don't have to assume that you don't have to talk about business. In order to just talk about general information about the person, that allows you then to go into other different conversations.
Excellent. You guys are making this class super easy to teach. I'll just let you answer all the questions. So you notice that too, that how many of you spend more time on the personal compared to the business? Yeah. Show of hands. Personal or the business? So the reason why we find that disconnect and why there's so much discomfort when we go to networking events is because we don't approach networking events like that. We approach networking events thinking about ourselves. We approach networking events thinking about what we're going to say to wow the other person, to impress them, to make them our customer or our client, or make them want to give us referrals right away, instead of just focusing on getting to know them. You already appreciate the other person speaking about you, correct? Didn't that sound pretty cool too when somebody already brought that up? Having somebody else share more about you. You could probably just bring, if you could just bring them to all the networking events, you're set. You're done. You have very well with it. Just go to a network event and say, hey, Chris, what do you do? Rodney, tell them. So you can have a lot more fun. You notice how the whole environment, the whole atmosphere in this room changed with this activity. When we first came in this room, it was kind of stuffy. Like, do I eat pizza? Do I not eat the pizza? Do I talk to the person? Do I pretend I'm checking my cell phone? Same thing that people run across at networking events. The exact same thing. The exact same, I don't know, tightness or whatever you want to call it, tension in the room. But once you got to know each other, then all of a sudden there's an instant connection. You don't need years of knowing somebody to really connect. You did it in about 2 or 3 minutes each. You guys realize that? It's just a matter of a few minutes. And it doesn't even take a few minutes to really make a good first impression on somebody. Sometimes it's before they even approach you. It's just a feeling that you get from them. Anybody ever introduce you to a friend? And then you're like, I don't like them already. Like, well, you got to get to know them. But I don't care, I don't like them. And there's other people that are the exact opposite, where you don't really know much about it. It's like, I don't know what it is about this person. I just like this person. There's something about it. You see, so with networking, people are making up their minds very quickly, and then when we talk about ourselves, it causes people to not like us. Because not only are we talking about ourselves, but we're talking about our business. And you notice in this activity, I didn't give you a whole lot of direction other than the basics. I didn't tell you to just talk about personal. I retained everything else. So how about Donna, right? Yeah. So what do we remember about Donna? What do we remember about Donna?
Billy?
Elizabeth.
Online. Germany.
How did you? Pretty good. All right. How about Whitney? What do we remember about Whitney?
Organization.
Organization.
She had 2 dogs.
What kind of dogs?
She's right from the right.
How they do? Pretty good. Michael, what do you remember about Michael?
Michael.
Best of Borja.
Married.
From Lorraine.
Raised on a pig farm.
State plan.
Going into the estate planning or farm assessment.
All right. How about Rodney?
Rodney is a financial planner for young families.
Sounds like young son. Yeah.
How they do? Good. Sarah, right behind.
Just
General law. Open early practice.
Good. All right, James.
He's an attorney.
Gonna go back to football.
Sorry.
As a new bulldog. Cow.
All right, well, I'm gonna go Maxie.
HR to Hawaii again.
Yes.
She loves to swim.
Yes.
It costs money to go to Hawaii.
Yes. I'm still working on it.
She's an HR.
Yes.
Holistic doctor.
Parents are Vietnamese.
She's born in the Philippines.
You have 2 daughters.
It's 2.
You guys give yourselves a round. Are you guys impressed?
Yeah.
You impressed yet? So you went from not remembering the person in front of your name 2 seconds later, and then now you remember everyone else in the room. And we could do that for everyone. I just can't do it just because of time. But you can see how much more people retain. So what I want you to do now is under that activity, that first activity, I want you to take some brief notes. I want you to write down some brief notes of what you took away from this activity that you could take out with you in the marketplace so you don't forget it. You already experienced this, so I doubt you're ever going to forget it. But I want you to write just a couple of bullet points, a couple of notes that you want to take away from this day. So you have 7 minutes to complete as many of these as you can from people that are here in this room. So you're gonna find out who owns a classic car in this room. You're gonna find out who played as a professional athlete, write that down. Okay? So you have 7 minutes to complete this. Then we're gonna gather back together and see how you did. Your 7 minutes begins now. Go.
Okay, so no black belts.
No black belts.
Can anybody talk about yourselves, talk about, get to know each other better. You learn about each other a lot more, and it's just a lot more enjoyable. No stress, no pressure. All right, no anxiety during this event. All right, so that's why number 1 reason why I do it. The second thing is I like to teach a couple lessons out of this. So just paying attention to what you all did when we started the activity. So who did you first talk to about this list? Who did you first ask questions to see if they qualify? Who did you talk to first?
Our foodie expert.
Who did you talk to? Who was the very first person that when I said okay start? Who's the first person you talked to?
Myself.
Next.
You talked to yourself? All right, so you talked to the person. So you talked to Lena. All right.
Actually, my first answer was Jack because it's what I learned when I was in the and I kind of went down and kind of.
Okay, but that's not the question. The question is, who do you talk to first?
I guess the person.
So start asking about this.
Closest person.
Closest person next to you. Did everyone else do that?
Yeah.
You started a person next to you. And then you realize they never leave the house. Then you're like, I gotta meet new people because you don't do any of this stuff. So you get up and you talk to somebody, one more person over. And then I heard Roddy say this from me, hey guys, should we work together on this? So eventually you all did that, right? So after a couple minutes, then you congregated back there and you were all sharing answers. You a bunch of cheaters, right? So you just start cheating. But I taught you, so it's okay because I told you to cheat at cards already. So I just kind of started that. So you guys all congregated back there and then you got smart, didn't you? You're no longer asking each individual person because you realize 7 minutes isn't enough time to go interview all 16 people in here. Do you guys realize that? 16 people is too many people. You can't go with 16 people and just go down the list. So you started hollering at each other and yelling at each other and say, who did this? You know, and then people would answer. So if you were asking for an answer in networking talk, it starts with the letter R, you ask for what? You ask for what? If you ask for something in networking, it starts with the letter R. You asked for a referral, didn't you? You asked for a referral. Isn't that all a referral is? There's always this big mystery about referral and this anxiety about, oh, I don't know how to ask, or I don't know how do I ask somebody for referrals? Well, you don't just ask right off the bat, but you built relationship with each other over the course of the day and no pressure on here, so you're just trying to get an answer. Who do you know that? And then fill in the blank. Isn't that all a referral is? Who do you know that needs help with some legal issue? Who do you know that needs help with real estate? Who do you know that needs help with organization? Who do you know needs help with their financial planning? You see how that works? So all of a sudden, if you know each other, you built the relationship, it's a lot easier to ask for that referral, isn't it? Now, for those of you that gave the answer, how many of you had an answer and you were more than happy to volunteer it because you knew what the answer was? Right? So it makes you feel good to share a referral, doesn't it? So why do we not feel like that when we're asking somebody for a referral? Why do we feel like we're burdening them? Why is that? So again, this is why networking doesn't work, and this is how to make it work, is all mindset. So going from this example here, you see that asking for a referral is not that big of a deal once you build a relationship. And we also understand that giving a referral makes us feel good. And if it makes us feel good, do you think it makes other people feel good? Because they can make that connection. So why isn't it happening more often? Why doesn't that happen more often? It seems to make so much sense here, doesn't it? Why haven't we already been doing this?
Anxiety.
What's that?
Anxiety.
Yeah, anxiety, right?
We're not taught how to interact with people in that way.
Yeah, we're not taught to interact with people that way. Yes.
Well, what I was going to say is my business is pretty much built from referrals.
And it's kind of made me lazy with networking. Like when I first started my business, I would go to at least one networking event a week. But I've been in business since 2009, and now I'm lazy with networking because I'm constantly receiving referrals. So, I mean, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Getting referrals, that's good.
Right, but now I don't like to do any networking.
Yeah, so when you get the referrals, one thing to remember is, just like when we're thinking about ourselves with the introductions, if we can think about other people and what they need, just remember that whole fishing analogy. You know, we can just remember that we got a whole net full of fish. We only want a certain specific ones, right? So what do you do with all the other people you meet? So even though they're already your customer, who else in this room could maybe your customer benefit from meeting? And it's not somebody else to sell them something, it's somebody else that can provide a need that they have. You ever have somebody ask for a plumber because it's an emergency? It's Sunday night and things going crazy and they're like on Facebook, who do you know that's a plumber, right? Do you think that plumber's trying to pitch business? No, so you can't really sell stuff sometimes. You just have to be there, top of mind and available when somebody has a need. And that's what networking is about. You know, it's being proactive. It's helping other people so that, guess what, if that plumber already sent you 3 or 4 referrals and somebody said on social media, hey, who do you know the plumber that come out Sunday night, who's gonna be top of mind? Probably the one that sent you 3 or 4 referrals, not the person that put the biggest ad. That makes sense? So what else do you guys learn out of this activity here? We'll start coming to a close here a little bit. And not our darkness that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine as children do. We're born to make manifest the glory of God that's within us. And it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated of our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Thank you guys for investing time in yourselves today to come out and learn about networking. You guys go out there and have a blast. If you haven't already visited Intelligent Office, is there anyone here hasn't been through the second floor Intelligent Office? So if you haven't been through second floor, make sure before you leave today, you stop through there where they're going to give you a tour. It's a fantastic place to be able to have a business, to be able to work remotely, or to be able to just have an office address. It's got a great view of the Columbus Commons. There's all kinds of cool events like this to where it helps bring the community together. So I just want to encourage you guys, if you haven't already had a chance to go down there, go down to the second floor and go on a tour of Intelligent Office. All right, so thank you guys for coming out. If you need anything, I'll be up here to answer any questions.